In Daredevil Born Again Episode 3, Matt Murdock fights for justice in the courtroom, but corruption runs deep. As he defends Hector Ayala, the system pushes back, showing just how much power Wilson Fisk holds. Meanwhile, the streets grow more dangerous, proving that even when the law is followed, justice isn't always guaranteed. The episode starts with Matt Murdock getting ready for Hector Ayala's trial. He isn't just defending a man accused of murder. He's taking on a corrupt system controlled by Mayor Wilson Fisk and the NYPD. Matt knows the trial won't be fair, but he refuses to give up. This scene establishes a David versus Goliath dynamic. Matt is one man fighting against a powerful system designed to crush people like Ayala. It also highlights the duality of Matt's life. By day, he fights for justice as a lawyer, and by night, he does the same as Daredevil. The difference? The courtroom follows rules, while the streets are ruled by power and fear. The setting itself is symbolic. The courtroom represents justice, but it's clear that justice in this city is compromised. Fisk's influence represents corruption, slowly taking over the system. Despite knowing the odds, Matt still believes in the law, proving that deep down, he hasn't lost faith in doing the right thing the right way. As the trial gets underway, Officer Powell takes the stand. He's a corrupt cop, deeply tied to Fisk's network, and he uses his testimony to twist the truth. Powell paints Officer Shanahan as a hero, even though his actions might not have been so heroic. He tries to make Hector Ayala look like a violent vigilante, justifying the use of force against him. This moment emphasizes how institutions with power can easily manipulate the truth. Corruption is at the heart of the system, and Powell's testimony shows how lies can be used to control the narrative and sway public opinion. The truth doesn't matter when the powerful have their way. Matt, on the other hand, is fighting for what's right, but he's up against a system that's already rigged. Nicky, who had agreed to testify in favor of Ayala, is expected to be a key witness in the trial. However, when he finally takes the stand, fear overtakes him. Instead of telling the truth, he denies seeing anything related to the incident. Powell's threats and intimidation have clearly had an impact on him. This moment shows just how strong the force of fear and intimidation can be. Even though Nicky knows the truth, the consequences of speaking out are too great for him to handle. His silence reveals that justice can be easily broken when people are too afraid to do what's right. It's not just a simple moment of a scared witness. It's a reminder of how vulnerable the pursuit of justice can be when those in power can manipulate the truth with fear. Nicky's failure to speak up becomes a symbol of how the powerless are often silenced by the powerful. It's a representation of how corruption and fear can keep people from acting, even when they know they should. Instead of standing up, they are forced into silence, afraid of the consequences they might face. As the trial takes a turn with Nicky's failure to testify, Matt knows he has to make a bold move to save Ayala. With no other way to show the jury why Ayala was targeted, Matt decides to reveal Ayala's secret. He is the vigilante known as White Tiger. This is a risky decision because exposing Ayala's identity could destroy his life even further, but Matt believes it's the only way to make the truth clear. This moment puts Matt in a moral dilemma. Justice is important to him, but by revealing Ayala's identity, he could put him in greater danger. Still, Matt chooses to take that risk because he believes that revealing Ayala's humanity is more important. Ayala wasn't a criminal as the system was trying to portray him. Instead, he was just a man trying to protect others. This move shows the complexity of Matt's character. His sense of justice often forces him to make difficult choices, even at great personal cost. In a deeper sense, Matt's decision to expose Ayala's secret reflects his own internal conflict. Matt lives a dual life. He's a lawyer by day and Daredevil by night. By revealing Ayala's secret, Matt symbolically puts his own hidden identity on the line. Just as Ayala struggles to live with a double life, Matt faces the consequences of revealing the truth, even if it means putting himself and other vigilantes in danger of people seeing them as criminals. The truth here acts like a double-edged sword. While it helps Ayala win his case and regain his freedom, it also paints a target on his back. Hector Ayala's testimony is the emotional heart of the episode. He is trying to help the community because it's the right thing to do, especially when it's ignored and failed by the police. His desire to protect the people around him drives him to take matters into his own hands, even when the system wouldn't help. His great actions move the jury, and in the end, it leads to his acquittal. This is a victory, but it comes with a heavy price. Ayala's story shows why people like him become vigilantes in the first place. He never wanted to be a hero or to break the law. All he wanted was to make his community safer, but the failure of the police and the system left him with no other choice. His story exposes a harsh truth. Vigilantism is born out of the system's failure to protect those who need it most. Ayala and Matt are driven by the same desire to protect others, but because of their methods and their choices, they are both seen as criminals. Ayala's testimony mirrors Matt's internal struggle. While Matt operates within the law, he still walks a fine line between heroism and criminality, just like Ayala does as White Tiger. The jury's decision is important. It shows that small victories against corruption are still possible, and that truth can sometimes win in a flawed system. However, it's also a reminder that these victories don't guarantee safety. Just because the jury acquits Ayala doesn't mean he's free from danger. In fact, his actions make him a target, as we'll see later in the episode. The fight for justice is never simple, and even when the right thing is done, the consequences can be far-reaching. Meanwhile, we see the tension growing between Fisk and his wife, Vanessa. She proposes a plan to launder money through art sales, a subtle way of hiding and moving illegal funds. However, Fisk's focus is on gaining more control and expanding his criminal empire. Their disagreements highlight growing cracks in their relationship. This subplot is important because it shows Fisk's obsession with control. In his world, everything must be organized and manipulated to maintain power, whether it's the city's criminal underworld or his personal life. Even with Vanessa, one of the few people he genuinely cares about, Fisk struggles to compromise. His need for power is so intense that it starts to damage the most important relationship in his life. Vanessa's plan to launder money through art shows a more subtle, strategic side of crime. Unlike Fisk, who uses force and intimidation to get what he wants, Vanessa is thinking in terms of influence, wealth, and clever manipulation. She understands how to use the system to her advantage, without needing to resort to violence. In a way, she represents a more calculated, patient approach to achieving power, one that contrasts with Fisk's direct and aggressive methods. After Ayala's victory in court and his release, tragedy strikes. He is immediately gunned down by an unknown assailant wearing a Punisher skull emblem. This moment represents the harsh reality of the world Matt operates in. Even though Matt won the case and justice was technically served in the courtroom, the streets don't follow the same rules. Vigilantes like Ayala, despite their good intentions, can't escape the violent world they've entered. No matter how much they try to protect people or do the right thing, they are always vulnerable to those who don't play by the law, especially when their enemies have more power. Fisk's influence reaches beyond just the legal system. His power is deeply embedded in the criminal underworld, showing that no one, no matter how much they try to fight back, is truly safe. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.